In the stellar queendom of Rhea, the Sisters of the Host do all they can to protect the hearts and lives of its people. Rhea, spanning most of the known galaxy, is beset by forces within and without who would drag all into oblivion and despair. Aliens of uncertain intent traverse the queendom's borders, all while internal hatred and distrust would tear the people apart, as older, fouler things in the darkness wait to see their plans birth a terrible future. The hosts are the creations of the Dreaming Queen, mystically and genetically endowed super soldiers that give heart and body to protect the Queen and her people. Come and join us for their stories. Greetings, subjects, and welcome back to Rose&Crescent, the Blood and Sparkles campaign, powered by Fabula Ultima. I'm Isaac, your Royal Herald, aka your GM, and these are my players. Starting with you, JP.
Hi, I'm JP. I play Petra, and I am 3 otters in a trench coat.
Hi, I'm Ira. I'm also here.
But who do you play? How will anyone know who you play if you don't say it?
That's the mystery. Can you solve it?
Dun dun dun.
It's Elisa.
I'm Rin, and I play Chiaka of the Silent Luminaries.
Alrighty, question for you. So the Annex were the Queen's companions, but they were also the mothers of the hosts. So, with that in mind, if your character got to meet their Annex mother, what would they ask them? Let's start with you, JP.
If Petra got to meet Alona, her Annex mother, she would ask her how she managed to get killed. She was a prince of the galaxy, as it were, and she had all of the magic power imbued into her by the Queen, and yet she was taken down by somebody who was just a normal human powered by some admittedly effective magic. So I would ask her, how did this happen? And how are we supposed to consider ourselves the stalwarts if you were taken down by somebody like that?
That is a fair question, especially so many millennia after the event in question. All right, Ira, what would Alyssa's question be?
Alyssa would ask, if you have a society that can only persist through sacrifice of some, what will become when only the selfish remain?
Ooh, hard hit right off the bat.
Yeah.
I imagine she would approve, though. For you, Rin, Chiako hasn't directly met her mother, but she has experienced a memory and a feeling of her mother at this point. So, with all that in mind, what would she ask Hikaru Michi if she were to meet her mother?
Why did you make me the way I am?
Now you're just being mean. Alrighty, with those daunting questions hanging over us, let us begin. Previously on Rose&Crescent. Having escaped the Nicasius-infected planet, but not the specters of Petra's past, the syndrome would make one last attempt infecting Chiako. As her body fought to save itself, she experienced memories of her Annex, seeing the face of her mother for the first time. To aid their friend, Petra and Alyssa linked minds with Chiako, and together they bolstered her enough to fight off the infection. Then, with the aid of the Beosansin, the plagued world was reduced to stellar dust. So, with the planet destroyed and things returned to a quiet equilibrium, along with everyone having a clean bill of health, admittedly, maybe there wouldn't be much of Chiako's mind to take, but what little she has, she wants to keep. You can now proceed. Now, you have 2 options. There is the projected flight path of the Silent Luminary ships from before that you had. However, you had detoured to investigate the emergency beacon that you were detecting, which led you to the Mindtaker planet, let's say. However, there was also a strange energy signature that you were also reading from a system in the cluster. Now, it just seems to be an energy signature. There's no signal attached to it. So do you wish to look at that, or do you wish to follow the projected flight path?
What sort of strange energy signal are we talking about? Like a celestial body energy signal? Man-made energy signal? Something mysterious energy signal?
Roll me an insight and insight check.
That is going to be a 10.
While you can't exactly get too deep on specifics, you do know that this seems to be an artificial signal. The pattern and the type of energy being emitted does not suggest it's coming from a star or some kind of natural phenomenon.
Where are we discussing this?
On the ship. You can be in the captain's ready room. You could be anywhere on the ship if you want to have this conversation. Maybe you are doing some weapons and munitions maintenance. Keeping your hands busy while you discuss this.
So I'm thinking that I'll be doing this over the coronet with the other two then. And I will be busy putting the flamer fuel back where it belongs. And I'll tell them, I want to get to see where the Silent Luminaries went. And I want to make sure that we do that quickly. But a signal like this may not last forever. I think it would be worth checking out.
I certainly understand what you mean. I am very interested in returning to my host, but you're not wrong. That signal might go away. Oh, well, while you're putting that, do you mind grabbing one of those explosive charges? It should be right next to the canisters, yeah.
Yeah, sure. What are you going to do with it?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Not terribly, no.
It's as this is going on that Quartermaster Glaus is handing you a report, Alyssa, about how Petra keeps putting the flammable materials next to the explosives. They aren't happy.
I am not happy. I will check in Petra and make sure that he remembers proper storage protocols for volatile materials.
Yes?
Oh, Petra, I'm glad I was able to catch you.
How can I help you?
You wouldn't happen to have the protocols for proper storage of materials memorized, would you?
Nope.
Really?
Well, have I seen them, or do I keep them in the part of my brain that really, really cares?
Do you know why volatile materials are isolated in different parts of the ship?
I have a feeling you're going to tell me no matter what I say.
Does the term chain explosion mean anything to you?
Yeah, it does.
Well, to prevent that being a thing that happens on the ship we are currently on and entombed in, we isolate the volatilities so that they cannot chain explode through the entire ship.
Have you heard of the term hostile boarding action?
If you are following proper protocols, then there should be more than enough time to properly equip yourself in the case of a potential hostile boarding action.
Well, I have some alternate facts there.
I don't care about your alternate facts. There are protocols, and they are to be followed both for the safety of the ship and its crew. You might survive a plasma inferno in the room with you. Many people on this ship will not.
At which point Daniel chimes in over the cornets. Triage is my least favorite part of the job, so if you could prevent situations like that from occurring, I would appreciate it.
I respect that the current placement is probably very convenient and saves you a lot of time. I also, and this is important, don't care.
Well, if you don't care, and I don't care, then we have to leave it up to Chiako. What do you say,
This is
Chiako?
not a democracy.
What are we talking about?
Do you think that we should keep the useful explosives and the beautiful-looking flamer fuel locked away in the bowels of the ship where it will take forever to get to? Or do you think we should make it convenient to use them for their intended purposes?
Well, if it's just an argument on whether or not it's convenient placement. In the meantime, she's painting one of the halls with, glitter or something. She's working on a butterfly right now.
I get the feeling that traveling through the dreaming just does not affect any one of us very well.
What are you talking about? It's totally normal to re-audit the entire ship in triplicate.
Officially, there's no recorded ill effects of traveling through the dreaming, so one can only assume that this is a matter of what you bring with you.
Oh, so why wouldn't you compile all data and compare it to find new correlations?
Yeah, and that's true. And from Petra's point of view, why wouldn't you prepare for a boarding action that could not possibly take place in the spot where you are?
Ooh, I have an idea. What if we keep them close together, but not quite together, and we booby trap them?
You cannot use a booby trap to prevent a chain detonation.
Let's hear her out. What kind of booby trap did you have in mind?
I was thinking something involving electric currents.
Electricity could be dangerous.
At this point, Danu says, before you set those traps, can we at least wait until we reach a port and I can stock up on burn salves?
You cannot let them win this argument, Captain.
No, that was Danu.
Oh, Danu. You cannot win this argument, officer.
So anyway, back on topic, says Danu. The captain would like to know where we're going next.
Oh yeah, we were deciding that, weren't we?
This isn't a scouting expedition, so protocol dictates we simply note down the odd behavior and then continue on with the current mission of the ship.
But what if it's important?
If it was important, then they would have left a message.
Perhaps that's what the radio signal is?
I don't know.
We don't know what it is. We just know a odd, strange phenomena has been noted. We are in the galaxy. If every ship in the Queendom stopped to investigate every odd, bizarre phenomena, nothing would ever get done. The protocols are clear. Note it down and move on.
At that point, Petra's voice kind of slips into her more professional tone. Captain.
This is the captain, says Eofred.
Captain, how long would it take if it took us 24 galactic standard hours to investigate the phenomenon out there, and then get us back onto track?
Let's see, 24 hours. Rito, I need you to do some math. 1 moment, please. A few minutes of awkward silence, and then Captain Eofred chimes back in. We could get to the energy signature in 24 hours. However, it would then be another 24 to get us back on track, not counting any time spent investigating the site in question.
Okay, so it takes us a full day, then we're looking at 3 days. How far ahead are we anticipating that the Silent Luminaries are ahead of us?
The Silent Luminaries have already been missing for more than a month, considering the travel time of getting to the cluster, and then when you got to the Tartarus Gate, it's already been a while.
So listen, let's break this down into a bit of game theory. If the Silent Luminaries would have encountered something already dangerous, then hurrying wouldn't help, correct? Am I seeing that wrong?
We don't know what the situation is. For all we know, they're running out of oxygen as we speak. Or everything could be fine. That's what it means to be unknown.
But it's reasonable to assume that if they've been out of contact for a month, it's more likely that they've already run into the thing that was a problem than less likely, yes.
I'm not going to speculate on data points that are completely born of narratives that are convenient.
Okay. Then I'm just going to say the plain text version of this, which is that I don't think 3 days out of our way is going to hurt an investigation that is already a month cold. And it may be very important what we're doing if we go find out what that is. This cluster seems to be a bit active with threats.
I will only join you in authorizing this side jaunt if you start taking containment protocols seriously. Then we can waste a little time as a treat.
Okay, so you want me to put the flamer fuel back in according to the A206 protocol?
Yes.
And then move the hand grenades back into their regular storage position in the weapon lockers?
Yes.
Okay, now do you want those to be under level 3 guard or level 4 guard?
You're going to have to run that past the captain. That being said, also apply A60C modifiers. We have multiple host sisters on the ship.
Done and done.
All right, everybody take a fabula point for all the role-playing. So, with the decision made, the course is set in, and you are heading towards this strange energy signal. As you go about back to your duties and the tasks that you had set to yourselves, Alyssa, besides what you have come to find to be the typical behaviors of your sisters while going through the dreaming, you also think possibly some of the emotionality of your reaction to Petra in particular this time around might be due to the fact that you still feel like you're in that deep mental connection that you had when you connected to Chiako to help her fight off the Nicasia syndrome. And you've tried a couple of the meditation and mind calming techniques that you know, and it helps, but you haven't quite managed to either get rid of or suppress that feeling.
She's also probably burning through her herbal tea and coffee collection.
And that is hard to get on a spaceship.
It's a little hard to restock, yeah.
Still, you try your best, and the journey commences. It's only 24 hours, so it's relatively short, although it feels longer depending on which party member we're talking about. Chiako, by the end of it, you have that butterfly made. Was it just a single butterfly, or did you just make like a whole swarm of butterflies?
I made a swarm of butterflies. And then there was also like some vines with some flowers, and they're like coming out of like the vents in the ceiling and stuff. And I think somewhere I have like a pretty sunshine, and it has like a little smiley face on it, but it's all in different colors of glitter paint.
But my question is, are you doing this because you miss Yarick?
No.
Well, all right then.
If at any point somebody comes across Petra near the end of the voyage, she is in the common room, laying on her back, throwing some kind of a ball used for different sporting events. And she says 3,271, 3,272. She's just laying on her back, throwing it up in the air, counting how many times she's done this. She's in the 3,000s.
Of course, considering your transhuman physiology, to an outside observer, this looks like you really fast kind of playing... What's the game where you bounce the ball against the wall?
Racquetball?
There's also like a hands-only version of that.
Handball.
Yeah, from an outside perspective, it looks like you're on your back playing handball against yourself at lightning fast speeds.
Woot woot.
Still, you arrive in system, and Arito notifies you. We've arrived at the planet where the energy signal's coming from, and it's coming from a desert world. Initial scans don't show a lot of natural resources that might be of industrial use. And considering its desert nature, this doesn't seem to be a very prime planet for colonization or terraforming. However, we have detected one structure on the dark side of the planet.
The dark side, so this thing is tidally locked?
Seems to be the case.
Well, Melissa, this falls under more your skill set than mine.
What do we know about this structure?
Let's see. The energy signature is coming from the structure, as said. There doesn't seem to be any life signs. And judging by some quick visual scans, it's definitely Queendom make.
Anything in the archives that would hint at what this is?
Nothing in our records, chimes in Aofred.
Let's fly over it. See if the telescope can give us anything interesting about it.
Already heading towards the shuttle bay, says Jax.
I'll go with you. Give me 5 to get suited up and armed.
Let's try to confirm a visual of it before we fly down to the planet.
I just thought that if we were going to have a shuttle going to look at it, that it might be good to have a host sister on board, just in case.
Let's just confirm that it's not a pit of lava or something before we get too excited.
They are bad for the shield, says Arito. Alright, so if I'm understanding correctly, you want to take the whole ship down and get a visual cue?
Basically, study it from a low orbit to see if more exact details can be learned.
So Arito takes Alona's heart in to a low orbit position, and some clearer visuals are gotten. And they are fed to the ready room, where the three of you can see it on the projection table. Looking at it, as said before, it's definitely Queendom origin. It doesn't look like a colony, it just looks like it's one building. And when I say building, I mean it's like it has a stone exterior done up in the columned, crenellated, and domed style, typical of the queendom, although roll me an insight check, anyone who's examining.
Open, you said, right?
I'll allow open, yes.
I got a 15.
Oh, nice. Alyssa got a 14, okay. And Chiako, are you rolling in on this, or are you just there?
She's letting the other two deal with the logistics. She moved on to a completely different hallway and needs to finish the flamethrower on the jackalope she just painted.
Well, all right then. Why are you painting with flammable materials? That's my question.
I mean, she'd figure it'd be a nice surprise for Petra. It is on her bedroom door, after all.
Hey, Elisa?
Yes?
Should we be concerned that Chiako is, decorating the ship while we're doing a tactical appraisal here?
I'm going to be honest, I do not know a single second of the day where I am not concerned about her, and for some reason or other, at some point it just blurs into one continuous reaction.
Well, okay. Yeah, fair.
All right, so you're looking at this structure, at its architectural details. Ira, your first thought is, wow, this is an old style. It's definitely within the family of the Queendom's architectural tastes. But Petra, you're looking at this and you realize these particular crenellations, these particular curvature styles, this style of architecture, it dates back to pre-Kennos Crusade. And for our listeners, the Kennos Crusade was a critical war that kind of ended up setting up the current state of the galaxy. Galaxy-wide conflict that resulted with the Queen becoming interred, and that's how she became known as the Dreaming Queen. Possible lore videos to follow, but anyway. So yes, this architecture, this building, that style predates the Kennos Crusade.
Elisa?
Yes?
This is really old. This is from the time when the Annex still walked the galaxy. And she'll relate the different aspects that lets her know what that is.
It being this old would explain why it's not in the archive. Doesn't explain why the Queendom, even in its golden age, would have built something like this by itself in the middle of a desert.
Maybe they didn't. Maybe this was a very different place.
Maybe. Things can change in... How long ago was the Crusade again?
Over 3,000 years.
3,000 years. Yes, things can change, though I will note they can't change that much.
I know this predates the Kennos Crusade, but I don't know by how much.
Where normally the building material would be a marbly kind of white, it has, through time and erosion, become a dingy brown.
It is definitely an interesting piece of archaeology, if nothing else.
One that's sending out an active energy signature.
One that is sending out an active energy signature, though. That doesn't tell us much of anything.
I mean, look, I tend to get just excited about new things and shiny things and all that, but that completely aside, I think that something this old, I think this is actually something we legitimately need to take a look at.
We do not have the resources for a proper archaeological survey. We can do a scout and send a report to authorities that would be more qualified for this.
I know absolutely nothing about archaeology, so for once you and I are actually in agreement on something. But I think that we at least need to make sure that there's no, re-emerging threat waking up here. Or re-emerging, ally waking up here, who knows?
Possibilities are endless, which means a lot of possibilities are boring and uninteresting. Don't get too excited.
Oh.
Regardless, we are taking this side endeavor, so we may as well look at what we have found. The general landing zone looks safe.
Orbital drop?
We are not orbital dropping into an potential archaeological dig site.
She just gives you a grin and you realize that she's needling you a bit.
Regardless, gather what you feel you would need for such an excursion. We board the shuttle in an hour.
And Harold, I know that you said something about this, but what is the environment that we're going to be? Is it like breathable? Is there air? What's the deal here?
There is air. The atmosphere does seem to be breathable, but it is a desert planet. You're on the dark side of the planet, so it is definitely chill. Having an exposed face, it would be ill-advised.
Would we need some sort of like backup heating source for our suits just to make sure? Or are our suits up to the task on their own?
Standard host sister armor should be up to the task.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, just be careful when breathing things in is all.
Yeah.
All right, so
A little too late for that warning.
yeah, I was grinning maliciously internally when that happened.
I shake my fist at you, Harold.
For mine is an evil laugh. Anyway, so within an hour, you are prepped and ready to go. You take the shuttle down, and the landing area around the building is clear, for want of a better term. You need to find one that's a bit more stable, as it is a sandy area, but that takes no issue. As I said before, it has that same marble column style with the dome on top. This one seems to be about 2 stories, not counting the dome. As you exit the shuttle, you see the expanse around you. Centered is the building, and then in the background, there are the dunes, and then further still, there seems to be some plateaus of some low mountains. The wind just kind of echoing eerily throughout all of it. The night sky, well lit by the moonlight, just giving everything an interesting ambiance. And as you proceed down, keeping an eye out for any threats, the area outside of the building, which has an open entryway, no actual physical door, you see what appears to be a number of bodies just strewn about.
Well,
Petra takes a knee, brings Clarabella up, looks down sights down with the scope, and takes a closer look at what's going on there.
All right, you're looking at the bodies? Chiako, are you also looking at the bodies?
Chiako is certainly looking at the bodies. It's not an unfamiliar sight to her.
The first thing you notice, without having to roll for anything, is that these bodies are old and desiccated. The desert environment seems to have mummified them with the degree of natural finesse you expect from a desert environment. However, for people examining the bodies, I will need a insight and insight check, and it's open.
And 11.
All right,
that's a pretty good roll in this system.
16.
But a 16 is better.
So the first key fact that you notice, Petra notices, and it's the fact that you notice signs of weapon fire on these individuals. They were killed by unnatural causes, basically.
Misadventure.
Chiako, on the other hand, what you notice is that there are 2 sets of bodies. One set of bodies is older. And see, and at least on the outside, there's more of the, for want of a better term, newer set of bodies than older set of bodies. Although both of them seem to have died by weapons fire.
Be careful. I think this place is booby-trapped.
Recently?
Well, if you notice these bodies over here, they are significantly newer than those bodies. But they died of the same thing.
What is the volume of this sea of corpses? Are we talking like dozens? Are we talking hundreds?
More in the dozens category.
Okay.
Is there any insignia or other identifiable aspects to these bodies?
So you're looking at some of the bodies, and you dig around a little bit, and some of the bodies do have some metallic elements to their clothing that have lasted. The older bodies, one of the bodies just under the surface, you dig it out a little bit, and you find a weathered but very clearly distinct insignia of the Queendom colonial bureaucracy.
Is that pre or post Crusade?
That would be pre-Crusade. As for the other set of bodies, some of them seem to have the remnants of, for want of a better term, dog tags. And you are looking at these dog tags. They don't look like military. They seem to be mercenary dog tags, if you were to hazard a guess.
Is there any identifying numbers on them or anything that we could have our resident member cruncher look at?
Pulling up from enough bodies, you pull up enough dog tags that you can recreate the mercenary company insignia.
Do we recognize it?
Not immediately. However, if you want to do an insight check, that is doable.
Elisa, do you recognize this symbol? I don't.
Petra, I do not have every trademark logo in the galaxy memorized.
You don't? Like, seriously, you actually don't?
No.
11.
All
Critical
right.
fail.
And Rin got an 11, and Ira got a critical fail. You're looking at that, and you're just like, I got nothing. Rin, mercenary companies aren't really your thing. You think? If it is a mercenary company, you don't think it's one that's currently active. But beyond that, you're not sure.
Whichever group this was, I don't think they're much of a threat anymore. Heck, they probably just died out here and that was the end of them.
Does that hold some appeal to you, Chiako?
Maybe.
So, can we determine this is more Petra's bailiwick. Can I determine which direction the shots were coming from? Can I recreate the battlefield, as it were, from what information we have?
You can give it a try. Roll me inside and insight, and I'll make it an open check. If the other two wish to assist, that's also doable.
Are you two gonna assist, or should I do this on my own?
Elisa shall assist.
Chiaka's gonna dig around more of the bodies and see if she can find clues.
In that case, both of you roll me an insight and insight check.
Got a 10.
A 12.
Alyssa, you are looking around, providing angles for Petra. Chiako, you're looking deeper at the bodies, examining the wounds, and then giving that information to Petra. So Petra, roll your open insight and insight check with a +2 bonus. That is an 8.
That sounds like it's time to start using those fabulous points.
Indeed it is.
You know what, that's a 4. I'm just going to reroll both of them. I'm going to say that this is my trait. No distractions, only 4.
Sounds good.
I managed to roll lower. Very nice. Okay.
6 is definitely lower.
Harold, would my Talam origin allow me to get a better idea of this? My argument being that Talam and what people live there are logical, ordered, sort of common sense thinkers, and they know how to work a problem and build things.
I will allow reroll based on that, yes.
Okay. And I am going to add my bond with, if I'm adding, then I will add it with the one with Chiako, who's looking for the stuff, and that'll be a 3. That's a 17.
Oh, very impressive. You know, you kind of had to browbeat the universe a little bit, but you managed to make it work for you.
It's the power of teamwork.
Yay! You're examining the position of the bodies. You're accounting for time and desiccation, getting the information about the wounds, and a picture appears in your head. You see people caught by surprise and running. And as they were running in the direction that you're coming from, heading straight out. But then they seem to have run into a firing line, and the shots came from opposite sides of where they landed.
This is an ambush.
And I will add further on top of that, based off what Chiako can tell you about the wounds and the weapons fire, they were shot by turrets.
My guess, based on what we're seeing here, and feel free to correct me if you think that I'm missing something. These people turned on something in this place, didn't much care for what they saw, and tried to run from it, but in turning that on, also turned on the turrets that looked like they shot them down with.
Is that everyone or just the mercenaries?
See, judging by the view of it, it seems to have happened to both groups.
Now, None of these were host sisters?
No, these are all normal humans.
These were unmodified humans doing this, and with older, less advanced technology than we have now. So we might have a better chance, but I mean, I think it should say something that even I'm hesitant to go further.
How good is pre-Crusade Queendom tech at sustaining itself without maintenance?
Pre-Crusade, the overall level of technology was a lot more even across the galaxy, or at least as compared to modern day. There's a good chance that whatever did this might still be functional. And if the second set of bodies is any indication, that just adds to your suspicion that whatever did this might still be active.
I mean, we don't know if this has degraded since that second group, but I'm getting that itching on the back of my neck. I think we need to figure out what's going on here so that nobody else falls into this. But I just, those warning bells are going up, you know what I mean?
There's definitely something that is a problem here.
And I don't want archaeologists to run into this and figure this out on their own the hard way.
In theory, the archaeologists should have protocols for dealing with this. At least protocols better than some random company of mercenaries. Still.
Well, as you might say, we actually have no way of knowing that.
Correct. How far away are the corpses from the building?
Not very far at all. It seems like they ran out of the building, and then that's when the turret started.
You know, I think we have a resource that they didn't have. I'm going to get on the cornet. Captain.
This is Aelfred.
Captain, can you get the heart to do some deep scans of the area? And I give them the rough idea of where the turrets probably were stationed when they shot these people, and see if you can find structures down there that might be, I'm guessing, metallic. Give us a few minutes to get out of the way.
This can be done. Arito, on to that. And Arito starts her deep scanning.
Petra is going to kind of go to the other side of the building from where those turrets probably were and invite her companions to join her.
Petra, you are aware an orbital strike will likely damage the ruins significantly.
I don't want an orbital strike. I just want to see what's underneath the ground.
About 10 minutes later, Arito gets on comms with you and says, alrighty, I'm forwarding the information from the deep scans, and following the direct line out from the building, you see space following those two lines. Below the sands are domes that would pop out of the sand, from which the turrets would pop out and then start shooting. And the deep scans also seem to indicate that while not active, there is some energy being fed to them.
Arito.
Ma'am?
You wouldn't happen to see a back door to this place, would you?
None of our scans indicated as such, no.
Yeah, of course not. So, Jocko, Lisa, what do you think we should do, ladies?
There is no easy path that is not without risk, which is not shocking. If there was, that would make for a poor security system.
Agreed. Harold?
That's me.
Does the Alona's Heart have technology aboard it that, or even does the Queendom have technology that allows for like portable shield generators that we could put up to protect us when we come out if we had to come out hot?
I'm going to say yes. It would require spending some of your inventory points.
I'm fine with that.
For the scale that you're going for, these shields won't completely block them, but they will give you a significant boost in defense.
What do you guys think? Get some shield generators down here to kind of give us an edge if we have to come out hot, and then that gives us a few moments to figure out a way out of it without just getting gunned down.
I think that idea is suitable.
Personally, I'm not a fan of maybe this will work. But it's your expedition.
Like you say, there's no easy route through this.
There simply isn't going to be one.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. How many inventory points do we need to spend to make that happen?
I'll say a shield generator for each of you will cost 3 inventory points each.
All right, I'll pay it. What about you guys?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Question for the Herald. How do we resupply inventory points?
See, in system, you would typically go to
A town.
In this case, we'll say that you go back to the ship, although eventually the ship will need to go to a town or a colony of some kind in order to restock itself.
Gotcha.
But you have just recently restocked at the Bay of Sanson, so the ship should be good for a little while.
All right, now we have these personal shields.
Are you taking point, Petra, or am I?
In a place like this with booby traps, as much as I hate to say it, Chaco, I think you need to be the one going first.
Perfect. Let's go, ladies.
It takes about an hour, but Jax flies back up to the ship and comes down with what's needed to put together your portable shield generators. And from there, you enter the building. Unlike the land outside, which is by and large eerily quiet, except for the ominous wind blowing through the sands and the stones, inside, it seems even more silent until you hear the slight hum of energy, as if this is a normal powered building, which normally you wouldn't be able to hear if not for the contrast provided from the outside. And as you enter through the first room of the building, which is a long hallway, you see additional bodies. You also see squares at even intervals following the length of the hallway. At which point I'm going to need everyone to roll me insight and dexterity, please.
That'll be a 14.
And 8. Definitely gonna reroll that.
I don't know the circumstances, so I don't know if there's a trait I can invoke to reroll it.
So an 8 and an 8 are both failures. Chiako, as you're going around, listening, examining, you hear the sound of technology powering up. And then you start to see movement from those square indents in the wall.
All of them?
All of them.
Or the one... Oh. Uh-oh. Ladies, I think you may have activated something.
Thanks for the warning, Scout.
So with that in mind, do you want to do rerolls now?
Yes.
I don't really have a trait that applies to this, so I got what I got.
I'm going to use my no distractions, only war trait.
You can add a bond to increase your number.
I don't think 9 is going to change much.
I mean, fine, be that way. It's not like I care.
So I've already spent 3 fabula points, I believe. 2 rerolls and a bond. And I'm going to spend 2 more here to draw on the bond with Chiako, given that she's our scout, nominally.
You can only invoke a bond once per check.
Once per check? So I'm going to use it on the reroll, which gives me an 11. Does that help?
You have a 3-level bond with Chiako?
I do.
Nice. That is enough in this case. So the roll was both to notice and give you a chance to react. As you realize what's happening, turret barrels come out of those square indents, targeting on all of you. Now, if you made the check, you have the option of either staying and deflecting and possibly getting into some kind of fight with these turrets, or the option to leave. However, Alyssa, since you failed, they're going to get an attack on you first, and then you have the option of staying or fleeing.
Since I succeeded, could I turn on my shield and step in front of her before she gets attacked?
Not in this instance. It's moving kind of quickly.
Okay.
Chiaka's going to flee.
What is your defense?
Is leave. My defense is 7.
Harold,
That's me.
does she get any benefit for being last in line as we go in?
I'm going to say no, because these turrets are evenly spaced along the hull. So all of you are in equal amounts of danger at this point.
Okay.
Doesn't matter because the turrets, maybe they are a bit rusty. They fire and you manage to dodge out of the way, Alyssa.
That's a miss. 5 does not do it.
It does not. So the question is, do you stay or are you going to run the hull?
We already know Chiako ran for it. Petra?
I am inclined to stay and fight it out. If for no other reason than this is going to happen to the next group that comes in, and I don't want that to happen.
Alyssa is probably going to start heading out until she notices Petra is staying behind.
So are you going to stay and fight with her, or are you going to try to drag her along?
Probably try to drag her along after she notices Petra, probably after one round of combat.
This is combat, that means this is an initiative check. Since Petra is the one trying to stay, I'll have her roll the initiative check. Alyssa, if you want to roll to assist.
Insight and dexterity?
Yes. 14 is a success, so Petra, please roll initiative with a +1 bonus.
A 5. Oh, sorry. No, that's a 10. Why did I see 5? A 10.
So, you beat out the turret's initiative of 8. I'm going to say Petra, who again is being the more active in this, goes first. You have, from your position, at least 6 turrets to deal with. What are you going to do?
I'm going to get into a crouch, lower my silhouette a little bit. Do I have to push something to get my shield generator going? Or is that just like a direct neural interface thought?
It's not a direct neural interface in this case. This is something you have to physically actively do. So I'll say your turn is activating your shield.
As I'm doing that, taking and activating that, can I make a check to see if there is something down the hall maybe that might turn off this thing like a kill switch?
You try to look and you don't see any obvious kill switch.
Okay.
All right, so that was Petra's turn. 2 of the turrets are going to fire, and then it'll be Alyssa's turn. Now your shield is going to grant you a +3 bonus to your defense. I am assuming a 4 does not hit.
That would be a correct assumption, but you got doubles.
Doubles are not innately crits.
Only 6 or above.
It's just a double.
So it just means the turret impressively failed.
There you go.
And does a 13 hit you?
I am looking for that right now. No, it would bounce off of my energy shield.
Boing. First round of turret fire has been successfully avoided. Alyssa, it's your turn.
Alyssa is going to charge in and is going to slam her fully activated light hammer into the next turret that appears to be turning to fire upon Petra.
In that case, give me an attack roll.
That is a 5, which is a terrible roll, so I'm going to spend a Fabiola point for Angry Perfectionist to re-roll that.
Very terrible, yes.
Even worse, alright, a 3.
Womp, womp, womp. Well, are you going to try again?
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the failure. As she is slamming against the metal casing that's resisting her blows, she's going to scream at Petra, "What are you doing? We are overwhelmed and outnumbered!"
We're host sisters. We're always overwhelmed and outnumbered. That's our job.
Our job is also to win, which is difficult to do when we jump into hopeless situations. Fall back!
Hit it with your hammer. I'm sure it'll work.
Is Chiako still running?
Yes, she is.
Oh, this is a long hallway.
Well, you've run out of the room at this point, into a small room that leads off into other directions.
Are there squares in these walls too?
Not in this one, but you do hear the sound coming from other directions than the one you just left. So you know there are more turrets somewhere in here, or somewhere in this building.
Can I hide around the corner and enter combat and, start shooting at things? Give my sisters cover.
All right. The next 2 set of turrets are going to attack, and then you can join it.
Very well.
1 on Petra, 1 on Alyssa. A 9 is a miss, and a 7. Does a 7 hit you?
On the dot.
All right.
What's the damage?
That's going to be 10 points. In this case, fire damage.
There we go.
All right, Chiako, now it's your turn.
All right, so Chiako's around the corner, and she's going to pull out latency and aim straight down at the row of turrets lining one wall. Since, they're perfectly even and perfectly aligned. Hoping that with one shot I can hit multiple on the way through.
All right. If you can get a critical, I'll allow for something like that.
Oh, let's see. Not a critical, I don't think. No. However, I would like to use a reroll because I want to, at the very least, get rid of that 1.
Fair enough.
Ooh, that's even worse.
Look at that.
Yes, it is. You want to use your Lucky 7 ability.
My lucky 7 will at least bring this up to an 11. So yes, I'll do that. I'll replace that 1 with a 7.
All right. You're trying to line them up to get through all of them. You're trying to force your mind through the possibilities. And unfortunately, you can't quite force it, but you do manage to land a solid hit, knocking out one of the turrets. And it falls back to Petra.
I'm still on 1B. So I am... Are these turrets close enough that I can use the multi-attack ability?
I'd allow it.
I already have the multi-attack ability on there, so my barrage is going to give me the ability to turn that to multi-3. So I'm going to spend 10 mind points, flip Clarabelle to full auto, and fire down one side of the hallway. Just strafing the whole thing back and forth, spraying it down and seeing what I can do. Got a 13.
13 is a hit. And you knock out 3 more of the turrets, leaving only 2. Now it falls to those 2 to make their attacks, and they are going to do so. And both of them are going to fire on you, Petra.
Cool. You need a 15.
No, and a yes.
Okay.
And you take 13 points of fire damage.
Okie dokie.
All right, Alyssa, your turn.
All right. How many of the turrets are left?
2.
2. Alyssa is going to deactivate the hard light on her hammer, and she's going to use it to smack the 2 remaining turrets.
It has a multifunctionality?
Yes, it can transform. When it activates, she can attack faster with it.
Nice. Very nice. 9 is a hit, and with the shifting of your weapon and going into quick mode with it, you manage to bam, bam, and crush the last 2 of the turrets in this hallway.
Yeah, it doesn't do light damage anymore, but she smacks people around with the handle, basically.
Now, from here, you have a small gauntlet of rooms and turrets to navigate through. Now, since fighting each individually would be kind of boring, I'm going to have you roll 1 check to see how well you manage to navigate, conserve your strength, tactically shoot at the right times to get through before you manage to get to the central room. Now, this building, despite its grandiose nature, has a very simple layout, and most of the hallways seem to lead to a central chamber. So who would like to take point on this?
I think the person with the really thick armor should do that. So unless somebody objects, Petra will go first.
I'm good either way.
So I'm going to need an insight and dexterity check from you to watch Petra's back.
What's the difficulty?
The difficulty for the assistance is going to be 10.
May I re-roll that?
You may, yes. And a 13 from Ira is a success.
Oh no, it's the same thing. Same roll, same numbers too.
6 and a 6. So unfortunately, you're kind of just too distracted. Maybe it's due to your art studies. Maybe before you joined the group, you were kind of very used to working by yourself a lot. And in this situation, you're maybe falling back into old habits in that regard. So you unfortunately let it slip at one point. So Petra, do a roll. The difficulty is 13, but you get a +1, and it's going to be an inside dexterity check as well as you anticipate and dodge.
Okay, will do. A 16.
A 16 is a success. So what this means is that you managed to navigate and deal with a lot of the turrets without receiving significant damage, and your shields will last a few extra rounds in whatever's coming next. So you've gone through this building, you've seen more of those earlier bodies as you've managed to navigate through the hallways, and you come into the central chamber. In this central chamber, this whole building, the interior has been a very Spartan affair. It looks like it was built, but not with the intention of anybody to actually live or work here, which is odd considering the amount of effort it would have gone into to build this building out here in the middle of galactic nowhere.
Petra's getting a growing unease that we've seen this before.
And as you're in this room, you see a number of cables and power relays built into the floor, walls, and ceiling, leading towards a central computer. Large screen gently illuminates the room. And then there's also a circular indent in the floor in front of the door.
Petra pulls out one of her demolition charges and keeps it handy. Sets it up for remote trigger detonation, but otherwise doesn't do anything with it.
Chiako's gonna inspect the indent.
It's metal, whereas the rest of the floor is stone. Looking at it, it's one piece, but it looks like it might turn and move to the side.
Does it seem like a trap or another turret to me?
It does not seem like a trap. It seems like it might open up to something below the ground.
Petra just looks down at the demolition charge in her hand, looks back up and smiles.
I wouldn't advise that just yet.
Let's not do things that likely are to compromise the structural integrity of the building we don't fully understand.
Petra puts on a play pout.
Look, as much as I would love to get buried alive by some stone structure, slowly dying from suffocation or being crushed, I would very much rather go out fighting a monster.
I would prefer to avoid both those things.
Yeah, but you want to be like some granny or something, I don't know. I'm gonna check the computer now.
So you proceed to the computer, and there is the interface. As soon as you start pressing the buttons, hoping to get the system running from whatever mode it's in, the screen starts blinking, and then text starts to appear. And the text is also followed by a feminine sounding but clearly synthetic voice, and it says,
"You're not them. You're not her. Host sisters detected. Beginning upload and transmission."
At which point, a bar appears on the screen that shows that it is loading something, and that metal opening that you saw earlier begins to spin and open. And rising up out of it is a battle construct. Initiative.
The hell is this?
Oops.
This is one of the reasons she took out her demolition charge. That's what this is. So I was the one on point, yeah?
I'll say you were closest to it as the other two went forward to investigate the computer, yes.
Okay.
Coupled with your character's general paranoia.
Rin got an 11.
And this battle construct, it looks like an old Queendom armored unit.
I'm going to re-roll that 8, but that's kind of BS.
Indeed it is.
Again, I'm going to use no distractions, only war. And I'm going to... Chiako had already given me some idea of what was going to be under there. And so I'm already sort of on edge and trigger happy as it was. So I'm going to use my 3-point bond with Chiako to add to this next roll. So it'll be 2 more Fabula points.
You should make the roll first before you add the bond to it.
Well, fair.
Yeah, because the bond bonus is after the roll. You add it to the result. So you don't have to waste your Fabula point. before you make the roll.
I mean, I don't mind spending fabula points. We get XP for them, right?
We do.
Right? That is a 12. Is that going to be enough to get us to go first?
It is. This thing, while powerful looking, does not seem to specialize in speed.
Good.
Are armor divisions like this still a part of the Queendom military?
Not typically, no. There are some units here and there, but most fighting is typically done with living individuals or living individuals manning some kind of suit.
Vehicles and infantry.
So who is going to go first?
May I go first?
Would you mind if I get first and broke its armor for you?
Well, I was going to use my quick assessment to suss out some of its weaknesses.
Cool. Go for it.
Harold, I am going to spend 10 mind points for quick assessment. This means I can either get 2 of this construct's traits or 2 damage types. I'm not entirely sure what it means by traits, so I'm gonna go for damage types.
And special, powerful NPCs have traits like RPCs do, which they can spend their own fabula points or to make rerolls.
Okie dokie.
You know, looking at this, doing your quick scan of it, you know that it is vulnerable to wind and bolt damage.
Wind and bolt damage, ladies. If you have it available. Chiako is going to keep latency in hand.
Now it's its turn, since that was Chiako's. Petra is the most forward, so it is going to attack you, Petra.
Sounds good. I mean, not good, but that's good.
Does a 10 hit you?
Nope.
It swings, it misses, tries to strike you with a crackling blade arm, but you manage to deftly avoid it. Now it falls back to you, Petra or Alyssa, who wishes to go?
I think it'd be wise if I broke its armor with my breach ability.
All right.
So what do you want to do?
Okay, I'm going to use an action and spend 5 mind points to then perform a free attack with a melee weapon I have equipped, which is my cyber leg, and I'm going to just do a really brutal, roundhouse kick.
All right, give it a go.
An 18 with a critical success.
Very nice. All right, so 18 is definitely a hit. You breach through its armor, reducing its defense, and you get an opportunity. How would you like to spend that opportunity?
I'm going to give that an advantage to Alyssa.
All right, you breach its armor, it cracks, exposes, it stutters a little bit before correcting its gait, and you use that time to signal to Alyssa to get into a good position, and it is going to go itself, however, and then it'll be Alyssa's turn. You attacked it, you did very unpleasant damage towards it, it is going to attack you again. 11.
Nope.
It swings and it misses. The breach portions of its armor grind against each other, and it falls to Alyssa, and you have a +4 bonus due to advantage given to you by Petra on your next roll. What are you going to do?
Alyssa is going to charge at it, screaming, trying to slam her armor into it as hard as she can. She's going to be making a shadow strike. She's also beginning a combat. Going to take her transhuman physiology to increase her might die to a D10.
With an opportunity for me later. Yay.
With an opportunity.
All right. Give it a go.
Wait, let me check what the order of these actions are. Because I think I first by making the might die. Yeah, I first make the might die. So I'm going to roll her might die. That's a 5. She takes 5 damage.
Ouch, but okay.
That does not take her out. So
I should
she now
hope
gets
not.
to make her attack. Yep. She now gets to do a free attack with her weapon.
Huzzah.
We'll add 4 to the accuracy, so that's included in the roll. Does a 17 hit?
Why, yes, 17 does in fact hit.
Cool. So that's going to be on top of the damage this attack normally does. She does an extra 5 damage.
Ow, so that's going to be 28 points of damage on this thing.
28.
Ouch. You lean in, you strike this thing. Shadows emanate from the light of your hammer, indicating that you have issues on the inside to work through. But still, these shadows seep into it, in the cracks. You hear a scrambling sound from inside. It stutters. It lists a bit to the side, but quickly manages to correct itself as the remnant shadow energy emanates off of it like smoke. So back up to the top of the round, and it's one of your turns again.
I'm okay with waiting.
I will pull my stun cannon and just kind of do a gunslinger's draw and shoot it.
All right, well, its due defense is 8 after what you did to it.
Yay! I got a 13 for 19 bolt damage.
Hey!
All right. Well, you are attacking its vulnerability with that stun cannon of yours, so instead of taking 19, it takes 38. If it could talk, it would definitely be saying, ow, right now. All right, however, it is now its turn. Despite the damage, it is just an automaton, and so it is still going to attack you. However, it is changing its priority target to you, Alyssa.
All right.
And I'm going to use one of those opportunities that I got to give it an advantage on this attack. I assume a 20 hits you.
I assume as well. Look, if you need a +4 to hit someone with 7 armor, I don't know. Regardless, what is the damage?
The damage is 19.
Ooh, one of those is a 10.
Actually, let me amend that. The damage is 24.
Ah.
And you are also now slowed.
Ooh. What type of damage is it?
It is physical damage. Except for the slowing effect, which has a bolt quality to it. It is your turn again. This thing is looking like it's being held together by baling wire. So who is going to try to finish it off? You, Alyssa, or you, Chiako, who's been waiting in the wings?
I'll do it. I have a bolt weapon.
Backstab the robot. Yar.
Oh, lovely. A 13 with 20 points of bolt damage.
So a 13 hits, and your 20 points of bolt damage becomes 40 points of bolt damage. With its exposed bits and its overall damage, you find that one vulnerable spot where its head, for want of a better term, connects. But you find that from the inside looking in through the gaping hole that Petra made. And you fire. And you hit the sweet spot just right, and electrical waves just roll and emanate over this thing until it is fried black and collapses onto the ground. The light from its optical units fading very quickly.
Well, now that that's done, is the thing done loading? I forgot that old technology used to have loading bars.
Well, you go back to the computer, and the feminine, though synthetic voice is gone, and you just see on the screen saying upload complete. Then the computer and the entire building powers down. The hum is gone, and you just hear the distant empty wind.
Yep, we ran into another one of those things.
Except, Chiako, you are not getting that same miasmic feeling from this place as you did with the artifact piece.
Okay.
What the hell was the Queen doing before that crusade? I mean, were they really experimenting with machines that could do this kind of stuff? Or, I don't know, maybe not experimenting, but putting them out en masse? What the hell were they thinking?
They were thinking it was a golden age that would last forever. What do you think?
I think they weren't thinking.
It's at that point you hear from Jack saying, everything all right in there? Everything kind of went loud, then quiet, and now I can hear you again.
Oh, we're good. We just fought a giant robot.
After shooting the walls. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Never a dull moment with sisters, I suppose. And from there, you survey the rest of the building. As I said, there wasn't a lot to it. This place was dedicated to this one computer unit. Looking around, you're thinking that the first set of bodies might have been the original builders of this place, and the machines that they built turned on them.
So here's a question for you two. What was the point and purpose of this place to put an AI onto a planet that has seemingly no tactical significance, no cultural significance, no colonization potential in a region of space that seems to have nothing going on? Why would they put one of their most advanced pieces of tech in there and build a building that is solely dedicated to this one thing? Like, what was going on here?
So the download that completed, was that just...
Or it was an upload.
What, the upload that completed, was that just the mech? Or was that something else that I just didn't get to before the computer shut down?
If you want to go take a look, you can try to jury-rig some power into this thing if you desire.
Yes.
All right. You jury-rig some power. You're looking through the logs, and it's almost like there's like a very basic OS operating this. Looking through it, whatever was operating on here, this machine has more computational space than you have ever seen. And you're looking what you can through the logs. When it said uploading, it was not uploading to the mech. It was uploading off planet. As I said, there's not a lot on here, but looking through the files and reading between the lines, you think that whatever it was that talked to you briefly was calculating something. You don't know what, but it was calculating some formula or scenario or simulation, something. And now whatever it was that was here doing said calculations is gone.
Oh, so like the computer's AI sent itself away.
That would seem to be the case, yes.
Fascinating. I'm gonna download what's left and also take like schematics and whatnot of the computer itself in case we run into something else like it.
All right, that's easy enough. You scan, you download, and you archive this for later investigation, or at the very least later reference. And from there, you head back to the shuttle, and you head back to the ship, leaving this empty place and this lonely computer hub to silence. And that's where we'll call it for tonight. Hope you all enjoyed Subjects. So have I suitably confused and terrorized you?
I am intrigued.
Confused, yes. Terrorized, no.
Well, I've done most of my job then. Still, thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed. Please do the YouTube things of liking and subscribing. Definitely helps the queendom out. And from there, we will say fare thee well, and we will see you next time, dear subjects.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Onward to tacos!